Alright, welcome back. I wanted to make a video going over some tips and tricks for doing the campaign and basically speeding up a couple of things or doing some things to basically help yourself get through the campaign faster. So we'll start out in Act 1 and the first tip is gonna be, alright, so here we are. First trick is gonna be before leaving the Grailwood for the red veil, you want to find two things. First and foremost, you want to find the waypoint to the tree down here, as you see. This will make it easier getting back here once you have to put the nails into the tree. So having this unlocked so you can go directly here from town is definitely one thing you want to do before leaving this area. Number 2 is grabbing the waypoint inside of Grim Tangle. That's going to speed up the process a lot too, so you don't have to actually run afterwards and go find this area. So here we are at number 3. If you find the druid inside of Grim Tangle, you do not have to fight him. You can walk around the edge of the arena without him starting the fight. I walked the wrong way, that's where he was standing. So what you want to do is walk the opposite direction of where he's actually standing. So you would come from this side and then you would walk up here, go around the arena like this, and you can walk straight out here without actually starting the fight. So in case you do not need a support gem, that is a neat trick to get past this faster if you find that first and you don't find the eternal cemetery of the Eternals. So for number 4, once you have opened the doors to the cemetery, the guy walking through here will have quite a long voice line. I think it's like 10-15 seconds. What you can do here is you can walk up here, and when you get right to the steps here, what I normally do is I press escape and I press respawn at checkpoint. And when you do that, you basically respawn right here at the checkpoint, and that is going to allow you to walk straight in here and start the fight immediately without having to listen to his voice line. So that'll save you 10-15 seconds easily right there. And another thing when we are here is utilizing this statue in the middle. You can kite him around the statue and he cannot basically shoot through the statue, so you're pretty safe. The only real thing you have to worry about is the ground attack that can go through here. Besides that, not if you, as long as you're placed on the, like, perfectly on the opposite side of him, he won't be able to shoot through this with his ice attack and stuff like that. So that's an easy way to kite him around and then basically hurt him while he can't really get to you. Alright, a little trick that you can utilize here, which is gonna be not, like, I'm not gonna number this one, I'm just gonna tell you guys. It's a visual trick you can use once you're inside of the mausoleum. You can see through the wall here. Basically you can see to the other side, and as you can tell, there's, if you look at the very top corner here, there's a tiny green tint in the middle of the area right there. Plus, if we look at the wall looks kind of specific here. It got like these little teeth, and that's how you recognize the arena where you do the boss fight. Basically that's what you're looking for, so you don't actually have to run through the entire map to find it. You can basically run the inner side and then see through the walls, and that way figure out where it is a lot faster. Alright, so here we are in the hunting grounds for the next tip, which is number 6 here. And the way this works is, as you see, I came in right here, and what I did is I walked and I hocked the wall all the way around, and if you notice, every single thing, the Freyhorn, the Orcum farmlands, is all at the edge. If we head up here, you will be able to see that we got the druid here as well on the edge. So if you hawk the edge, that's how you find everything inside of hunting grounds. There is no real point to going into the middle unless you want to get some experience. So next up, if you want to find the crow bell, what you're looking for is this round area right here, this little arena. As you can see, I've not discovered this on the map yet, but it's because I know by seeing this little corner right here that this is exactly where he is. And if we walk around right here and we discover it, you'll notice that there's a little walkway in here. This is the final arena that you fight him inside. So this is what you're looking for first and foremost. And then the entrance is going to be right above it. Do note that some layouts, you can have the Freyhorn in like the back area of this specific boss arena. So it's not every time that it spawns by itself like it did on this layout right here. Sometimes you do have it spawning on the other side of the arena where you fight the Crowbell. Alright, now right here we are at number 7 in Orkham Farmlands, where what's gonna happen here is you spawn in right here at the waypoint, and that is a simple way to tell where you find the loot for Una and get you 2 points. It's basically what you want to do is head north of the waypoint. Sometimes it's cut off right here and you'll have to basically make your way around. Either or, one or the other way, it will be open. Or it's like my layout right here where you can walk all the way up here and then you get the cutoff up here instead. And what you then do is just basically walk straight around and get in right there, as you see, and you'll walk straight into this little house. Okay, so here we are with the next up, which is going to be number 9, and this is going to be actually the newest trick. It's going to be a 2-in-1, you could say, but it's going to be the newest trick that I personally picked up. So first and foremost, you want to have a lot of cold rest for this fight, so that's going to be the first tip. Make sure to have a lot of cold resistance for this specific fight, because he does have a ton of cold damage and he does a ton of cold damage attacks. So do try to cap out your rest for that. Now for the other trick, which is the newest trick that I just picked up, and this is brilliant. I wish I'd known this longer. Basically, you get him to have you get him to half health. He changes form, and then you kill him in the wolf form. And when he dies as the wolf, he has quite a long voice line. So what you want to do is that time window where he is talking, you want to utilize that to go to town. So you make a town portal, you go to town, you take the waypoint and you go to the manor like that, and then you grab your checkpoints and you go with your checkpoints to kill the candle master, right? So this is such a good fucking trick because it saves you quite a bit of time. If you don't do this fight right away, you go to do the Gearnor fight first, and then you head back here, you kill him. Now you don't want to make a town portal here because you already have one, but what you can do is you can either checkpoint your way here, or as I normally do, I just checkpoint back to the waypoint and I go to town, and then when I'm in town I just take my own town portal instead of checkpointing back to the arena and taking the elevator down. But either or works, and it's just so nice. Then when you come back down here, he's basically dead, he has done his voice line, and then you just pick up all the loot. Super simple. This one is a little different because this is kind of a boss fight trick. So if you notice that if I stay right around this area where I'm at now, I get spears thrown at me at all time from these guys standing up on the hill watching down. Now, one thing you kind of want to try to not do in this boss fight is be in that end of the arena. I tend to try and keep him right around this area right here. You can basically just move around him and you don't have to fear him too much. As long as you keep him like right around this area, there's not too much problem. You're not gonna have a super hard time. The most hard part is probably all his add-ons when the wolves come in. Try to have some type of AoE attack for that situation. Besides that, you're pretty good. Lost City. The trick here is something I can't really show off at the moment, but I can explain it. The way this works is there is a ton of these guys, right? And these little beetles, if there's enough of them, can quickly overwhelm you. And one way to get around this is either using Leap Slam to get away from them like this, or another skill I found is really useful right here is having a quarterstave on your back and using Vault. Vault is kind of like Leap Slam. It moves you forward, and it is just super helpful. I think that Vault is going to be a lot more used now, especially with the new sprinting. You hold down the dodge button and you start your sprint, and when you see a group of enemy, you're basically just going to press your Vault button, then move past them, and then roll back to sprint. Next group, Vault past them, next group, boom, like that. That is a great movement skill in the early game. That not about, I don't see a bunch of people actually utilizing it. I feel like I'm one of the few people who have done that. All right, so here we are with the next one. Now this is going to be somewhat a little bit more of a way to get back faster. So what I like to do is when you walk forward in the Valley of the Titans and you go to, it basically splits to two sides, right? So I'm gonna walk this way first, and I'm gonna see if I can find the little hand icon, or it's basically a little mountain, which is the last place we gotta go to. Once we have opened the 3 seals, that's where we're heading. So what I like to do is finding that area first, due to the fact that it has a checkpoint. Now we did find the seal first here. So what I'm gonna attempt to do is walk the other way real quick to see if this is in fact the way to the little mountain. It's right here. So this is the spot you want to find. Once you have this checkpoint and you have done your last seal, let's say this was the last seal, I press it, then instead of having to either teleport to town and take the waypoint and walk all the way there, I can just take the checkpoint and I can travel right here immediately and go in. So that helps out a lot if you find this area before you find the last seal. Alright, next up we got Dishar, and for Dishar what I like to do is, if I tend to find this area called Path of Mourning first, before I find the letter, which is 2 skill points. So what I normally do is I walk up here, I grab the waypoint, I go back down, and then I find the letter, and once I got the letter, I'll just immediately town portal back to the caravan and then take the waypoint to the Path of Mourning. Alright, here we are with the next one, which is going to be for the Spire of Dishar, and the way I like to do this one is there is a side quest here, which is called the Sisters of Gar-Yukuan, and this gives you extra lightning resist. Now normally you walk up here, you press the button and these statues come alive and you basically have to fight them. What I like to do personally is find the boss arena, and once I have the boss arena checkpoint, I'll just walk up here, I'll press the statue, the statues will spawn in. I'm just going to press this checkpoint and I'm going to go straight here into the boss fight. That way I do not have to deal with all those statues coming alive. Alright, here we are for the next one, which is going to be the Dreadnought. I do want to point something out. Having high fire resistance and high lightning resistance for Act 2 is really important. Getting a tiny bit of Chaos Res as well would be very nice if you can manage. But next trick is this one right here. So once you get past this first part, you will get to this checkpoint, and at this checkpoint you'll meet some bosses, which you can see right now. I walk up, I get the checkpoint, I press the escape button, and then we're going to press respawn at checkpoint, and we're gonna do confirm. And what's gonna happen now is all those monsters will despawn, and I do not have to actually fight them, so I can just move on. Alright, so for this boss fight, there is only really a couple of tips I can give, because I will consider this the hardest boss fight of all boss fights in the campaign by a mile, in my opinion. This is pretty much the toughest one. And there is really not a lot of tricks to this boss fight. One thing though is usually the first attack he does is going to be like half the arena. So what I like to do is stand in front of him, and when he turns like this and he puts out his 2 spears, then I move to his backside like he just did there, and that way I'm always safe. So I always try to stick right on top of this guy, because I feel like I'm much safer if I can just move around and be right behind him at all times. That way I don't really get hurt too much, and I do get to do a bunch of damage to him as well. So that attack right there is one of the ones you do want to be looking out for when he swings the sword. It's pretty dangerous. That can one-tap a lot of builds. And the second part you kind of want to watch out for is when he spawns the portals, and basically they'll cut off a majority of the arena, and you won't be able to move around very easily. So try to make him spawn them in a somewhat decent area. Usually the way he'll spawn them is if you're standing right here and he decides to spawn them, then normally he would spawn a portal right here. But when he starts spawning the portal, you can already move away from it and he'll just keep spawning the portal. One extra thing to point out here is sometimes, personally, I like to wait with doing my trial until right before this boss fight, depending on how much damage I have. If I have a lot of damage, I usually wait till before this boss fight, then do it, and then go into the boss fight. And if I feel like I'm lagging damage, I'll do it as early as I can. Alright, so next up we got Act 3. We should have made it to Act 3 easily by this point, and what you want to do is this first area you get to, you walk out and it's all sand. What you're looking for is the foresty area, so once it turns into forest, you know you have found the right area. And second is, depending on what you find first, if you're finding the entrance to the city, or if you find the little hut where the witch and the other guy lives right here. This is a side quest you 100% want to do every single time you do a run through. You want to come in here, you only need to kill one of these guys. Once you kill one of them, you can open this chest back here and it will have a lesser jeweler's orb for you. And this is a guaranteed drop, so you will always be able to get one right here. And that's why you will always take this quest every single time, because it's just a simple increase in power no matter how you look at it. Alright. So for this next bit, I'm gonna assume that we can sprint in town, and then if we can sprint in town, don't mind this one. This one doesn't matter anymore. I would say sprinting down the stairs is probably gonna be easier than going through a loading screen or two. But as you'll see, these stairs are pretty long and you have to walk down them. You can't sprint, or like you can't walk fast, you can't shield charge, you can't do anything, right? So there's two places you can go here, and the first place you will just have to take the long walk down the stairs, come here, go to the drowned city, but inside of the drowned city there is a waypoint right next to this entrance. It will always be right in front of where you come in, so you just have to walk forward and then you'll find the waypoint, and that's a guaranteed every single time. So you see right here, the waypoint is right here. Now, as you saw, there was 2 areas in the previous area. So what is faster at this current moment when you want to go to Kopek and you don't really want to run all the way down these stairs, because it's going to take quite a bit of time and you can't use shield charge right now and you can't do it fast. So what we normally do is we walk from here and we walk to the waypoint, we take the waypoint to drowned city, and then we shield charge to the, or blink, or whatever you have as a movement skill, to this doorway right here. We come out the doorway and we walk straight into the Temple of Kobek. And inside of the Temple of Kobek, there is another tiny trick that I want to kind of explain. The area right here is a lot easier to traverse if you have the leap slam ability. And the reason I say that is because there will be areas in here that's blocked off. But some areas, even though they're blocked off, they will have areas that you can jump through with leap slam. Like for instance, I think you can do this one right here, as you see right there. So that's a reason for why this is an easier way, like in a place where you definitely do want to have leap slam, or if we have similar, I'm not sure if you can vault it. I don't think you can. I think you have to leap slam. Sometimes there'll be this basically broken area where the floor has disappeared and you can't get past it, but you can leap slam over it, so that helps a lot. And another thing is, if you are playing in public games, the one thing you cannot do here is die in the sun area. So right here where you see me taking damage, if I die right here, nobody can come and revive me. That is going to be impossible. So you do not want to die around this area where you take damage from the sun. That's going to interrupt anybody trying to revive you, so that way you won't get revived. Alright, here we are for the next trick, which is going to be in Juani's Sanctum. And this is one of my favorite ones that I found really early on. It was like on my third character. I discovered that this was a thing you could do, and I've been doing it ever since. I never do this area in any other way. So the way I usually go is you start right here and you walk forward, you grab the waypoint, and then you come out here in the boss arena. And what I do, I always go right here, and then I hug the wall around this area all the way up here. I find the first generator, and once I find the first generator, I go up top right here. I hug the wall around this area all the way through here, and this little area, it has this round thing, which is like some stairs, is always a spot where it spawns a rare monster at the end. So I just walked past that, and then I walked straight through and into the second reactor right here. As you see, there is a soul core right here. They are highlighted by these green icons, and you can see them from pretty far away, and they look like this in your inventory. Now, what I always do is I discover the first checkpoint, and then I go to the second checkpoint. Once I'm here at the second checkpoint, if I haven't found a soul core yet, then I'll just respawn at checkpoint. I'll see if there's a soul core right around where I'm at. If there's not, I'll teleport to this checkpoint over here. I'll see if there's a soul core around here. If there's not, then I'll respawn at checkpoint. I'll do the same. I'll check around again here. Is there a soul core? If I find one, I'll put it in the generator. I'll teleport over here, and then I'll check around to see if I find the second one. Now, in this case, we did find one on the way. We found two, but I'm just gonna play it like I found one. So I'm gonna put this in. Now I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna press escape. I'm gonna press respawn at checkpoint, and as you'll notice, this will disappear from here. We'll still be able to see the map, but now that soul core has respawned in a different spot. So what you can do is just basically walk right around the area where you're in, since the soul core can spawn right here around the generator. Normally what you would do is just walk around like this, see if you can see it through any walls or anything, and if not, okay, we can't see it, so we take the checkpoint, we go over here, we do the same thing, we just walk around and we try to see if we can find a green icon on the map. And it's not looking great here. Don't think we got one. Walk down, no. Back to the checkpoint, so we'll just press respawn at checkpoint. And boom, there you go. Now you see it. It's right up here. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna walk up, we're gonna grab the soul core, Once we have the soul core, we can easily teleport back to the first reactor, put the soul core in, and immediately after putting the soul core in, we want to make a portal and go back to town. So we make a portal, we head back to town, or hopefully sprint directly to the waypoint here in the future. And then we're going to take this waypoint, we're going to hit this one, we're going to go to the waypoint we grabbed in the beginning of the map, and boom, we are inside of the boss fight, ready to fight the boss fight. We did not have to find everything or look the whole map through, because it's a pretty big map, this one. So cutting all that look time away and just being able to respawn and not have to deal with anything is such a help. Alright, when you walk up to the lever, you can just hold the walk button and you can basically walk away even though you haven't really pulled it yet. So I just walk up, I press it like that, and I just start walking away. And as you saw now, the color didn't change on the lever, but the ability to press it disappeared. So that's just a little neat trick that lets you basically animation cancel that part. I love that one, super useful. I use that a lot. Alright, so here we are at the second part of the tips and tricks for the waterways, and this is something that I picked up on in the race, when we did the boss race, or the Act 3 race. That is, you can, when you get to this lever right here, the big one, you can make a portal, and if you make a portal right next to it, so you're basically standing right next to the portal when you press the lever, you then start spamming your mouse button to click the portal. So the animation starts, and then you just hammer the mouse button to basically skip the cutscene that you get, where you watch all the water disappear. So you saw how we saw it for a split second, and then it went into a loading screen. Now you don't have to see it drain the water, and that actually saves you quite a bit of time too. Not a massive amount or anything, but it's just a neat little trick, and I love those type of tricks. I love those type of tricks. So yeah, that's a neat little one. Alright, so next up we got Utsal, and one thing I like to do here to find my way is I always go this direction right here, and I then follow this specific path, and basically by following this path we should find our way directly to the Viper fight. We'll just have to do it real quick to basically see if it is true or not. But that's usually what I personally do to find her. It's I feel like it's 99.9% of the time this is the way to go. And boom, there we go, straight to her. So as you saw, I just followed the path, straight down, huck the wall, huck the wall, huck the wall, all the way through. Easy as.
You have spilled serpent bite.
Alright, so a really good tip for this boss fight is having a good amount of chaos damage and some type of fizz mitigation. That helps this boss fight a lot. They did make it a lot easier. I feel like it's super easy now, but I do see a lot of people struggling with this specific boss fight. Another thing is these spear guys, they have she has a phase where she'll activate the spear guys and they'll throw spears at you. What I tend to do in that situation is stick to one end and then one side at the same time. So when I see the green light on the spears start to light up, I know, okay, these 4 guys right here are the 4 guys that's going to shoot. So I'll just go over here at these 3 guys, and then I'll go back to the 4 guys once they shot their shot. And at one point it's going to be all of them shooting in like all the way down the line. And what I can do, I try to stay right around this area, not all the way down here. You don't want to be there, you want to be like right here. So it starts here and it goes up, and you're basically just going to go straight through them by rolling through them like this. Alright, so once you've done the Viper fight and you come out of the Viper fight, it's kind of hard to tell. It can be either up or down, but what you usually want to find is, again, you'll find this road right here, this type of route right here, and then you just follow the route, and that should take you straight to the next area. And as you'll see right now, boom, here we go, checkpoint and the next area. Alright, so here we are in the next area, Agarat, and the trick here is listening. You're listening for a sound cue where you hear the Atsiri, and that's the cue that you're on your right way. You just follow the voice and you get straight to where you want to go. Right here is where we hear the voice line, and you can also see the green text coming up down here. And now we're just gonna follow that voice, and then once we basically get to where the voice is, the next area will be. Another nice way to recognize it is this red like river thing. You cross the river into the middle, and boom, here we are. You want to just head upwards basically. And the more upwards we go, the better, because we want to go semi straight up, as straight as we can go to get to the next area. Right, next up I kind of want to highlight, or last I would say, I want to highlight a couple of character things that you definitely want to constantly be aware of. One thing is your weapon. If you're using, like me, a bow and a quiver, then being aware of both your weapon and your quiver and upgrading them as often as possible is very important. The more damage you have, the easier everything is going to be. And you might not want to spend runes and stuff like I've done here. It's just because I had like multiple left laying around. I was like, let me just put one in here for no reason at all. Another thing is trying to get your resistances to, if not capped, then at least being well into the positives. Don't try to go into like certain fights with super negative resistances. So for me personally right here, I try to move my resistances around as I need them. So next up, what I'm gonna need really is the chaos resistance for this act. So that's the reason I'm gonna start looking for more chaos resist type of gear. And another thing is, in Act 1 you will be gifted a charm, and usually I always took the cold resist charm, but lately I've been taking the fire resist charm instead, and I feel like that's a better choice, because yes, you do need a lot of cold resistance for the wolf boss, but in the end you're gonna need a lot of fire resistance for the remainder of the campaign. So having this just seems better, and then once you get into maps, you're probably gonna want to swap this for either the stun or something else. Another thing is movement speed on boots is a god tier mod when you're running through the campaign and you're super early on. Just any type of boots with movement speed is literally welcome. And you're gonna wanna be checking the vendors. You wanna check all the boots you find, stuff like that to find a pair. And yeah. Alright, so another thing is having a second-hand mace and shield for shield charge or for leap slam later down the line is really what you want it for. Or just two maces if you don't want to have shield charge at all. You just have two maces with increased attack speed on both of them. They don't need to have any damage or anything. You're just using them to be able to basically jump over areas where you wouldn't normally be able to just walk over. So even though we are getting sprint, I still see that as a useful second hand. If you're not using combos, I would definitely go for a shield and a mace for sure, 100%. And to add to that, I kind of want to point out that you can have your shield, for instance, set up so it's only on your second hand weapon you can use your shield charge, and you unclick the first hand and then you go to all of your other skills. So let's say firewall, for instance, and you make sure that's clicked to hand number 1, and then you have unclicked the second hand for all of your other skills that you aren't using, or every other skill than shield charge and leap slam. And by doing that, it's when you press the leap slam, as you saw, it just automatically switched to my shield and mace. And now when I click the gas arrow, it's automatically switching back. I don't have to press any other button than just the single button that I'm using.